Hello again. Welcome to the Spiritually Awakened Man channel, the channel where we're developing a community of men who are going through their spiritual awakening, different levels, and would like to be part of a community of men that process some of these concepts of the spiritual awakening the way men process them, so we can develop some good conversation and learn how we process these things perhaps differently than women. I noticed that in a lot of the events I've been to and groups I participated in, there was a large imbalance between the number of women participating and the number of men. Yet, if I look at some of the research I've done, some polls that were put out and came back, 41% of men believe that they are, spiritually knowledgeable. And so that kind of flies in the face of the statistics that I've seen in person, which probably about 15 to 20% of the attendees are men. So there's a little bit of a difference in the way men and women look at these things, but yet there's an interest level in the men's community to understand these things. That's how I read this information. Anyway, that's why I started the channel. Here we are again. Today's video is titled Guard Your Empathic Energy. So why did I call it Guarding Your Empathic Energy? Well, in the large scheme of things, step back and look at it. Generally, there's two types of people from a personality perspective and energy and so forth that we work with. Generally, people that are interested in furthering their spiritual understanding, doing a spiritual or going through a spiritual awakening, trying to raise their level of vibration, trying to raise their level of consciousness. Ultimately, that's what we're doing. We tend to be on the empathic side of a dividing line. The other side of the dividing line would be narcissistic. Not to say that we're empaths and narcissistic and that's cut and dried. It's not cut and dried, but for the purposes of talking about the empathic side, which is the side we're on generally, I just wanted to compare and contrast against, the opposite of that, which is narcissistic. I heard something in a presentation, and it was described that narcissists and empaths are after the same thing. They want things from people, but they go about them slightly differently. Narcissists manipulate others directly by perhaps complimenting them and directly like that, and then asking them directly for a favor, for example, if they'll, the person will do something for them. That's kind of the narcissistic way. An empath is after something as well. They just go about it differently. They manipulate people by just overtly, being giving to them, giving them things that they might not have asked for necessarily, but just showering them with things that feel good to them in the hopes that will generate a reciprocity, and that person will give them the things that they in turn are seeking or wanting. Doesn't always work out that way. That leads to some relationship issues for sure. But anyway, that's just an interesting compare and contrast. So when we're dealing with energy, we're talking about vibrational frequency in this case. Back to good old Nikola Tesla and his quote, to better understand the universe, we must think in terms of vibration, frequency, and energy. And so that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about our own energy. It's in terms of vibrational frequency. That's how we measure our level of higher consciousness, actually, is the level of vibrational frequency we are existing in. So this can be represented, I guess, in terms of something called the hierarchy of consciousness. And this is a measurement. Maybe you've seen this table before. It's a fairly common table, and it's measured in hertz. It's our emotional levels measured in hertz. And it gives us an idea of the level of vibrational frequency we're operating at if we're existing in certain different types of emotional levels. And I'm going to run through these real quickly to give you an idea of what I mean. So starting at the bottom, and this is something that goes from roughly 100 hertz, anger, your vibrational frequency is around 150. Pride, your vibrational frequency is around 175. Courage, your vibrational frequency is around 200. By the way, in the spiritual world, 200 is kind of a dividing point. If you're below 200, it's going to be very hard for you to ascend to where you want to be. But the goal is, one of the first goals is to develop an awareness of this stuff. Second goal is to try and increase your vibrational frequency. So you want to be above 200, and that starts to get you into the game. 250 would be neutrality. 310, willingness. Acceptance, 350 hertz. Reason, 400. Love, 500. That's a fantastic level to be at if you can get to the 500 level. That's where love is existing. Joy, 540. peace 600, enlightenment 700. So that gives you an idea of this table. You can Google this up or search it up and print out your own copy of that table. But it just gives you an idea of the way you think and where you put your mindset and your attitude and everything about yourself, about others, about how you operate, about people you hang around with, about issues, about TV shows you watch, like what levels. Start having an awareness around the levels of the things that are influencing you. Interestingly enough, I also read recently that they did a fairly scientific study. I'm not exactly sure how they measured this. They generally were saying that, look, in general, like love is one of the highest levels that you can be at if you're consistently. Now, these things go up and down. You can be operating at a certain level of frequency for periods of time during your day or during certain activities that you do, but then you might fall back into the lower vibrational frequencies. So if you can develop a consistent level of 500, which is where love exists at, that's just a fabulous position to be in. It's an amazing level. That's referenced a lot, I guess, is what I'm getting at. They did some kind of a study where they were able to measure the vibrational level of different emotions. And these are really translate from the emotional base, really. And they found that the emotional level of authenticity vibrated at a level that was 4,000 times higher than where love vibrates at, the 500 hertz level, which is just amazing to me. So don't discount, the level of authenticity. It's an amazing level. One of the key points to being able to vibrate at this level, there's a few of them, but the one of them, key one, was you have to truly believe in your heart that what you are saying or what you are representing is the truth. And you need to look up the truth. I mean, we think, yeah, we understand what the truth is. The truth in this case goes deeper. There's a deeper meaning and a deeper definition of truth. So go look it up and just understand, make a mental note that authenticity is something you need to understand too. So this is talking about the different levels. What protects our energy? And we talk about, keeping our energy and not letting our energy slip away or be affected. What protects our energy? Well, there's two things that really protect our energy. Discernment, for one, which is just an awareness of this stuff so that you know what's going on with energy around you. You can start paying attention to this stuff and start feeling this, and you'll start to understand. When you walk into a room full of people, what's the general vibe? We already understand this. We don't think about it outwardly so much, maybe, unless you start really thinking about it, or unless you're a very super sensitive person. They call that a highly sensitive person, an HSP, right, versus an empath. So it's discernment about this. And then your auric field. Your auric field is a barrier. It's an energy barrier. That's how I look at it. That exists around us, right? And it starts kind of above us, above our crown chakra, and it kind of falls down all around us like a curtain. And it's up to us to understand that auric field, because when it is weak and we're vibrating at low vibrational frequencies, that's when it's weak. It can't protect us from interruptions in the auric field as easily. You are susceptible to entities attaching to your auric field when it's vibrating at a low frequency. That's why we want to keep our auric field strong. The higher vibrational frequencies that we spend our time at, the less external factors are going to be able to affect us from an energy perspective. So those two things. What protects us? There's other things too, but discernment and an understanding of this is one, and your auric field, understanding of your auric field and how it's strong and how it works. Okay, so when you go into like a group of a party or a group of people or a room full of people for a meeting or whatever, who's trying to take your energy? That's what you might be asking. Okay, we want to hold on to it, but who's taking it? Where's it going? Basically, we exist in two categories. The empathic side of things. Some people are very empathic. Some people are less so, like me. And that probably evolves over time too. But then on the other side of the dividing line, you have the narcissistic type of people. And I kind of explained how they work and how those manipulations take place between the two. So you have to watch out for both. But generally, when you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're going to be spending your time generally more slanted toward the empathic side, which is interesting. And that's a whole area of study too that is very interesting and worthwhile to go into. But anyway, it's understanding how these empathic personalities and narcissistic personalities tend to work so that you can use your discernment and recognize them, and you can protect yourself from them. How are they trying to get something from you? And recognize that, and just be aware of it. Excuse yourself from it. Don't be around it. That's the biggest thing. This goes with discernment around your friends. If your friends are constantly existing and exhibiting personality around the low vibrational frequencies, you probably don't want to spend your time around them. They probably have weak auric fields. They probably have attachments, entity attachments. These are entities, just like I'm saying, and they attach, and they affect your personality. They affect your decision-making process, things that you do versus that keep your vibrational frequency low versus things that you should be doing. And so if your auric field is low, they can jump right over and attach themselves to your auric field. So understanding how this works is one reason why you don't really want to spend a lot of time around people that have a low vibrational frequency and could be pulling your vibrational frequency lower. It's tricky, not being around people like that, especially if they're your family or your friends and things like that. But again, this goes back to your awareness and your discernment, and it's up to you to figure out how to diplomatically not expose yourself to it. So that's a little bit about who and how. Why are they trying to take your energy? Well, they aren't trying to deliberately steal your energy. But I said there's energy, as I mentioned, energy attachments there, and they're functioning as separate entities, right? And so they're causing this to take place. They want your energy. They want your energy low so they can affect you and attach themselves to your energy because they thrive on energy. The term for that is they thrive on loosh, which is energy that they steal from other places. When we're in fear, when we have societies that are generally exhibiting fear and anxiety and chaos and all these different things that we see from time to time, especially now, that's generating the kind of energy that they survive on. They don't eat 3 meals a day like we do. They need loosh to survive. So this is why they're manipulating and why they're trying to horn in on your vibrational frequencies. Now, the higher vibrational frequencies that you keep, your auric field is, like a suit of armor. It protects very well against these kinds of things, and also protects from, sicknesses, colds, flus, other kinds of things like that as well. So this is why we need to work on keeping our vibrational frequencies high, our auric field strong, and protect ourselves from the kinds of things that are going to draw us down. There are things you can do to keep your auric field pure and free of these things that are pulling us down or trying to pull us down. There are a couple of prayers that I was given, and they seem to be effective. I believe I'm operating at a much higher level of vibrational frequency than I was when I first started this. I believe, by the way, that I went through a period of time when I was traveling globally for work. I was run down just, from a sleep perspective, and travel's hard on you. And then having to entertain people in the evening, take them to dinner, and you drink some good wine and some good beers, and you socialize with your business associates as well. All that stuff brings your vibrational frequency down. Alcohol's not good for your vibrational frequency. Not having enough sleep is not good for your vibrational frequency level. And generally getting run down like that. I believe I established some entity attachments during that period of time that changed my personality. And I believe ultimately I became a slightly different person, and it affected my marriage. My marriage ended in divorce, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what was going on with me. I had a great love for my wife. I don't think I was sharing it very well, sharing that. And I think it was effects from entity attachments. And I eventually learned to understand these concepts and got rid of them. So keep that in mind as well. If you would like to work on your relationship, be aware, again, discernment, that these things can affect your personality, how you're viewed outwardly. Our energy is something that people that are attracted to us, like our significant others, they're attracted to us, which includes our energy levels, the way we think about things, the way we think about them, the way we share how we feel. And so when you get drawn into a lower vibrational frequency, it can change how they're interpreting your energy. And then again, your personality differences that can be interpreted as you're less interested in them as you were before. And they don't know why this is going on either. And you probably don't, just like I did. But I'm just giving you a heads up that it can really affect you. So think about this. Okay, a prayer, and I've got these down in the notes section of this YouTube posting, so you can look at them and cut and paste them. But one of them is real simple. It's a prayer that you can say very quickly. I put a couple of them in the notes section. After someone that works with the heart-mind coherence, she's also someone who channeled an Akashic record reading for me and suggested that I might want these to use. I think she sensed some auric disturbances in my work field and suggested that I use these things on a very consistent basis. So go into the notes section and take a look at them, and you're welcome to copy and paste them. I feel very confident in them knowing who they came from. Well, that's all I've got today for this video. I hope you found it helpful and interesting and gives you some topics and some areas you can go look deeper and become a little more knowledgeable about this. Please comment, and if you have some discussions that you'd like to throw out there, some things for feedback, throw them into the comments and let's get some conversations going about this. And until the next video, be well and namaste.